Good evening, this is Lynx, and I'm going to do another video here for you in relation to cards, but this time it's relation to Lenormand Cards. This is the Lucky Lynx Fortune Cards, my Lenormand deck. I had some people ask me all the time about Lenormand because there is this movement, it seems, that states that you have to use a specific method to read them, and they do not read like tarot cards. Now, years ago, about, 10, 12 years ago, I got my first deck of these, and I had no idea that there was any tradition to them. I was working in historical reenactment venues, and I had found one of these because it was a historical card, looked historical, and it seemed to have a history to it. However, I did not know of any of the methods that people were using and the arguments they had that you can't use your intuition, what have you. People write me all the time and they tell me that they get very confused by how to use these cards because they seem to shut down when confronted with the methods that are being applied to how to use them. My suggestion in those cases, do not take someone else's methods and someone else's insistence that you have to do something a certain way, because it seems to be tripping you up. They seem to be able to read tarot just fine, but they have trouble with these. So, for those who say that it can't be done, that you can't read them like tarot, I beg to differ. I've been doing it for years before I ever knew there was another method to do so. And in the original deck I had, it showed that you could just lay them out in a grand tableau. Well, all I was doing at that point was looking at the past, present, future, and feeling my way through where it was coming from, and I would connect to the individual. Use your intuition with these. This is how you do it. We're going to do just a regular tarot throw here. Let's do one in the center situation. This would be the past. So, for this example, an individual in the center would be a man. Just so happens that a man is reading it. I just tossed it. There it was. This has to do with, it could be travel, or it could be a situation dealing with commerce and or travel. In my past, above, the top, bottom, and forward. So, looks like in this particular case, on the top is this. So, a man in the current situation where his mind is, feeling like he's in a situation where he's dealing with the limits or the obstacles that are being placed on something that he's currently showing people how to use. Underneath the surface are the mice, the individuals who like to steal other people's power in relation to this whole topic of card reading. They say that you must do it a certain way, and usually it's their way. That way they get to set themselves up as the experts, and you have to come to them for the approval. And then the future is the sun, which means that this is probably going to meet with a lot of, this video is going to meet with a lot of happiness and a lot of positive responses because of it, although it is going to bring some people out to light that are probably going to not like what I'm saying as well. So, man in the middle, situation on top is the individual, where his mind is or where he's at right now. Underneath is what's underlying it, and the recent past reads just like tarot. You can do past, present, and future. If you don't believe me, set it out for your day. So let's do morning, bouquet, road, there. So in this particular case, the morning might say, okay, you start feeling very optimistic about the day. During the day, things kind of change for you, and you find that you're going off in a new direction from where you started. Maybe you had an idea in the morning of where you wanted this day to go. You got yourself all set in your mind, but the day took its own turn, and you went in a new direction. Where you are now at night is you're sort of not in a great place in your head because of what happened during the day. Just read it like you would anything else. When they tell you can't, prove them wrong by doing it. In the end, all that matters is whether or not you can do it, whether or not you can make it happen. I'm Lucky Lynx. Just start using the cards. When you find yourself in a position where you're confused by the method they say that you have to use, just start tossing them and see what happens. Do what I said in the last video. Get yourself out of the way. Connect to the person that you're reading. Want to help them. Want to make the connection that helps them be curious, remain curious, drop yourself, and the cards will work like anything else. To get a hold of your own copy of this Lenormand, which is the Lucky Links fortune cards, contact me and I'll tell you how to get them. I'll be putting them up on my Etsy soon. This is how you read them like you would read anything else. You can get more complicated with it. You can start to put combinations together. For example, publicly bringing out limitations, or a public a group of individuals or a group of friends or a group of individuals who are social, feeling the constraints of their circumstances. You can do that as well, but you can do that with tarot cards as well, and you can do it with playing cards. Any of these decks you can read any way you want, as long as you get the information that makes sense, and the information that actually predicts what's going on. I've been doing this with these for at least 10 years before I ever knew that there was a whole tradition that someone said is the only way that you can read them. It's just not true. I'm Lucky Links. Go out there and try it. Play with the cards. See what you get. Experiment. And I'm wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do.